This is the part of the show where I take photographs that you, the viewer, send in to me. And we play around with some ideas that hopefully will help you as you improve your landscapes. Well, today we're taking a look at a house in Missouri. Lisa wrote in and she said, "Look, Alan, I really don't like how spotty my landscape looks." So I agree. I think that really it is a bit spotty. And Lisa, there's some ways to take care of it. First of all, I think that this shrub works, but there's a lot of, you know, this one and this one are the same, and then you got that one, and we need to group them all together. So you've got this going on over here, so we need to pull them both sides of the house into the same palette of plants so it feels more harmonious. So let me just throw out a few ideas here. I think if you created a more sinuous planting like this, because this is so straight, following the curvature of the path could be very interesting. And this needs to sort of belly out like we do here. This tree as a terminus is good. Whatever this shrub is here, we may want to repeat that over here on this side. So we might want to bring some of that across like this, just to match it and give us a background. Then what I would do is, and I'm not sure what that is, it's difficult to see from your photograph, and what I would do is take this plant and this plant and this plant and group those right here. And then take this plant and this plant and this plant and group those right here. And then do all ground cover under the tree, and the same ground cover here. Again, consistency, consistency, consistency. And then you may even use this ground cover along here. And then the next mass of shrubs would come in front of this. So we're moving this over here, and we do the same thing over here. Now this could be an azalea, depending on the sun, whatever works there in your area, but I'd see an evergreen flowering shrub here. All right, we're getting somewhere here. Now you could also come across, Lisa, and put a picket fence across the front. You said you liked a cottage look. I'd pull it way out to the street, but that would give you a sense of privacy. You could bring it up the side and have a gate here on either side. And then on this side of the property, it's difficult to see from the photograph, but you could create a beautiful hedge all along there with hemlock trees, or you could use some kind of holly all along this side that would help give you a sense of enclosure for this space. And then up here, I would probably put some sort of maybe a taller piece here for your container for the fern, and try to match it maybe on this side with something. This is a little small compared to this, but I think that that helps if you have this fence that echoes the size post here, out here, and the white picket. You're bringing a bit of the house and the color of the house and that element into the landscape. Well, I hope this helps. You've got a great project here. Good luck with it. It's one of my favorite places to spend time looking at photographs and images that you, the viewer, send to me, and we talk about some possibilities on how to improve the landscape. Well, today we're taking a look at a beautiful house in Colorado. Now, what is interesting about this house is that it's very bold, and Susan wrote in, who's the owner, and said that she would really like to have drought-tolerant plants, which is a good thing. Because I think that water shortage is something we should all think about, but particularly in Colorado. Now, what I'd like to propose here is to do something very simple but bold, because that's really the nature of the house. I really like this tree a lot, and I think that repeating this tree over here, if you will, one here, and maybe even one, I'm not sure what variety this is because I can't quite tell. This looks like a maple. But Susan, if you just sort of think about another one here, and then maybe another one over here to sort of frame the house, whatever this is. So we're going to repeat that. But I want to talk to you about this basic landscape around the front of the house. I think if you did some sort of sweeping bed that might come around, I can't tell how the front works or where the connection is, but I'm assuming that you could come around the front here and all along here. Now you did indicate that you'd like to do a rose garden over there. We'll talk about that in a moment. But if you divided this into blocks and you said, all right, let's do something here, something here, something here, something here, you can see that you're creating this rhythm and maybe something there. And then what if these were just grasses? A mass planting of grass A, and then we come back with grass B, and grass B. So you have two varieties of grasses across there, all very bold. These could be a certain form of juniper. There's so many different types of junipers. These could be junipers that will take very, very dry conditions. Likewise here and here. And you mentioned you had some burning bush that you could move, and I think adding some of those burning bush to the back, like here, and maybe accenting the house here, and then repeat it maybe right at the base there. So you would have just this bit of burning bush to shine, and then maybe make a hedge over here of burning bush. It would be very natural. And on the other side of that, that's where you could have your roses. Now remember, we talked about repeating this tree here and then over here. So you can kind of begin to see how this would work, the pattern, and we've set a pattern here, here, and here, and here, here, and then the blue, blue, blue with two different types of grasses. Now you can check and see what grasses do the best in your area by going to one of your local independent garden centers. We've done a lot of work in Colorado at the Botanical Garden there. It's a great place to go and get ideas. Now today, we're in New York talking to Renee. Renee has a house that looks like it was built at the end of the 19th century. I really like the color of it a lot. The dark blue shutters are nice. And Renee is struggling with the fact that these rhododendron aren't doing well, and she seems to be a little crestfallen about the fact that this beautiful red twig maple, Japanese maple, is not growing so fast. But Renee, really if this is Sangu kaku, the coral bark maple, they don't grow terribly fast anyway. But what I would say, if it stays here, that maybe what you should do is limb it up so it begins to create this sort of canopy here, which will also provide some privacy on that lovely, very generous front porch. Now let's just talk about this, because I think that you can do something really simple here. I think that the rhododendron are covering up the English basement windows that you have here. So what if we looked at this planting along here, and I can't tell exactly where your bed lines are because of the snow, but what if you did some sort of a lilac here, which would be beautiful in flower in the spring, multi-trunk lilac, and then came in with some laurels just on the corner. And I don't know how much light you want in these windows, and maybe another laurel here and another laurel here. I think they'll be easier to grow than the rhododendron. And then if you came in and just did a basic fern, just a simple wood fern, a hay-scented fern, cinnamon fern, any kind of native fern along there, it would be a very simple landscape. And I really like fern at the foundation of houses of this period. You'd want to repeat some of those same things over here. You could probably put one of the laurels, another laurel here, and maybe even here. I can't tell quite how much room you have there, Renee. And then think about this. You've got plenty of space here, and I'm not really sure exactly if this faces north or south, or east or west for that matter, but if you get some shade here, and I think you may very well, You could add a big bank of Hosta here, which would be really beautiful, big bold leaves, and the same thing over here on this side. Now the other thing that I would want you to add here for some summer color would be some roses, and perhaps we use some of the knockouts because they're just so easy, and you may want to put those on the other side of the house over here. Now if it faces the north, you could switch out these laurels if you didn't want the evergreen, although I think you need some evergreen, Renee, and do some hydrangeas, which would be fantastic. But I think you've got a beautiful property. I like this picket fence over here a lot. Not knowing how much space you have out here, you could bring that picket fence all the way around the front and create a gate that allows you to come up to the steps, which would be really quite beautiful. Now you mentioned the spruce. I can see that some of the limbs, the lower limbs, aren't looking so good. I would come in and prune all the limbs off of it so that it goes on up like this, but you take all of this these small scrappy sort of limbs away, and that may give your maple time to grow. Renee, I hope this helps. Good luck with your project. Hey, if you love this video, make sure you comment and subscribe below.